Hello, Adams. This is Miss Kovarik, and we are on Unit 7, Lesson 14. We're going to look a little bit closer into that chapter that we read last time, so the Headless Hessian, or the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So first thing you need to do is either listen to the chapter again, which the video is right here, or you can go ahead and reread the chapter on your own. When you're done, come back to this video and we'll go over the questions. All right, so here's a poster to help you out of some figurative language that we've been talking about. So simile is a comparison using like or as. Metaphor is the same thing, it's a comparison, except it doesn't use like or as. Hyperbole, that's a new one. Hyperbole is when you use exaggeration for emphasis. So when you're exaggerating, you're kind of being a little bit extra to make a point. So if you're really, really hungry, you might say, I am so hungry I could eat a horse. You're not going to actually eat a horse. That's an exaggeration, but it helps you understand that you're really, really, really hungry. And then we have personification, which are things that are given human qualities. So if we make animals, objects, anything that is not a human, when we give it those human characteristics, we call that personification. So making animals talk, making trees wave, that's all personification. And then an idiom is an expression that cannot be understood from separate words, but it has an implied meaning. So these are those phrases that we have in the English language that don't mean anything on their own, but the phrase itself does mean something. So an example of that might be, it's raining cats and dogs. It's not literally raining cats and dogs outside, but we know that that means it's raining very, very hard. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple different figurative languages that are in this story, and you're going to answer some questions about it. So first of all, what two things are being described in this simile? It says, a drowsy, dreamy atmosphere hangs over the valley, as if it were under the sway of some bewitching power. So what are the two things that are being compared here? Number two, what mood does the simile below convey about the setting? So a mood is the feeling that the author gives in a text. So what feeling are you getting from the setting from this quote? A drowsy, dreamy atmosphere hangs over the valley as if it were under the sway of some bewitching power. So same quote, but think about the mood. Next, we're going to look at a hyperbole. So I'm going to read this passage to you, and you're going to choose the part that is a hyperbole. So remember, that's exaggeration. You're going above and beyond to make a point. In this out-of-the-way place, there lived a teacher by the name of Ichabod Crane. His name was well suited to him. He was tall and very lanky, with narrow shoulders, long arms and legs, and hands that dangled a mile out of his sleeves. So which part of that paragraph is hyperbole, exaggeration? Number four, you're going to tell me what literary device is used here. His elbows stuck out like a grasshopper's as he rode, and as he rode, his arms flapped like a pair of wings. Like a grasshopper. There's a big old hint right there. So what literary device is that? Use that poster above to help. Number five, based on that simile above, what word best describes Ichabod Crane? Number six, we're looking for personification. So what non-human object in this passage is being personified? What fearful shapes and shadows jumped across his path? How often did he dread to look over his shoulder for fear of catching a glimpse of some ghostly being close behind him? So what is non-human and being personified? Number seven, authors often use fear or suspense to build excitement. Do you think this story was scary or suspenseful? Why or why not? So you're going to say either yes, it was scary, or you can say no, it wasn't scary, and then tell me why. Because this happened. So give me that evidence from the story. And your last reading question, I want you to think about the theme, which in this story, one of the themes is real versus the imaginary. And I want you to think of one detail from the text that supports this theme. So when in the story were they referring to something real against something imaginary? Okay, let's look at skills. So we're going to talk about auxiliary verbs today, and these are helping verbs. They can't stand alone, so they're added onto another verb, and let's see. We have two different forms, present tense and past tense. So for present, we use can or cannot or can't, and then for past, we say could or could not. And then we have these other 4 ones as well. So if this is a high possibility of happening, like it's going to happen no matter what, we're going to use the word will. The lower chance of that happening, the words change. So may would be next, and then might, and then if it's not going to happen, we will say won't or will not. So these are auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. They're added on to another verb to complete the sentence. So here's an example for you. It says, answer the following questions and look at the example below. Be sure to use the model verb from the chart above. That's another word for auxiliary. So for the example, can you ride a bicycle? You're going to answer with, yes, I can ride a bicycle, or no, I can't ride a bicycle. Okay? So can you use chopsticks? Again, you're going to say, yes, I can use chopsticks. Or maybe you can say, no, I can't use chopsticks. End it with a period, start with a capital. Same thing with, can you speak another language? Can you play an instrument? Name one thing you could not do when you were 4 years old. So when I was 4 years old, I could not do this. Same thing for 5, but the opposite. When I was 4 years old, I could do this. And for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you're going to simply choose the word that fits the sentence. So can't, won't, could, can, might, couldn't, might, may, will. Pick the one that best fits in the sentence. And then lastly, we're going to go over those words, the able or ibble words again. So remember when we add that able, it turns the word into an adjective. So you're going to fill in the blank with the word that completes the sentence. Portable means you're able to carry it somewhere. It's small. You know what comfortable means. Edible means you can eat it. And predictable means you are able to predict it. You know what's going to happen. Accessible means you can get to it easy. Visible means you can see it. And that is all of them. So pick the word that best completes the sentence. And then lastly, we're going to practice those spelling words again. So same words. You're going to pick one activity to practice for your spelling assessment, which is coming up. And that is all for lesson 14. Have a wonderful day. I will see you all next time. Goodbye, 4th grade.